What's up, my good people? This your boy CJ Money Way. Today I have on the show Martin Salama, the author of Warrior to Warrior, and also the architect of Warrior L.I.F.E code. Live incredibly full every day. Martin Salama, how you doing, man?
CJ, I'm doing well. So glad to be here with you, man.
Damn, I'm glad you on, man. Excited to have you on. So, like, what's on your mind, recently that you would like to share with the listeners today?
Oh, wow. That's a great way to put it. Well, what's always on my mind every morning I wake up is how am I going to greet this day?
Mhm.
Because in the old days, I used to get up and say, oh my God, I got to get up. I got to do work. I got to do this. I have to do that. And now I wake up every morning and say, how lucky am I? I get to do these things.
Yeah.
And I start off my day with appreciation and I write down 3 things I'm grateful for
Wow.
every single day. And even at night, very often I write 3 things I'm grateful for. And this way I'm ready for the day. And then I say, live incredibly full every day.
Uh-huh.
Because if I got that mindset going in, things will go right off the bat.
Yeah, you know what? I like that. I might implement. I'm thinking about implementing that in my life now. Wake up every day to and write 3 things down that you're appreciative of, that you're grateful for to
That's
see.
right. And I don't just write it down on a piece of paper. I go out and I have a good notebook like this, like a nice moleskin type of notebook. This
Mm-hmm.
is one somebody just gave me, but it's the same type of quality. Mine is next to my bed. And I write down in there because if I put it into a quality notebook, it means something to me. It's
Mm-hmm.
not me just scribbling some words down on a piece of paper.
Okay. Okay.
Gives it a little value.
Yeah. That's something that, like you say, I think I'm gonna implement that because I know that by the end of the week and the end of the month that you got so many things that you're thankful for and that you're grateful for just to be here, that you can go back and check mark some things like, okay, I'm grateful for this today, or
That's right.
so.
That's right. And
I,
you know what it does, CJ? It helps you to eliminate the complaining.
and we know that's a lot. That's a lot going on today.
Oh
Unhappy
yeah.
as as you was talking about before we get into that, the program. I'm working on a program of anger management. A 7-course program of anger management, and so
Fantastic.
later on, whenever we get another chance, I would like to pick your brain on how these programs and things work like that. And so, on that note, can you tell us about this program, this 7-figure program that you
Sure.
work?
Absolutely. But before I get there, right before I get there, that's where I was. I was an angry person.
Okay.
I was a people pleaser. I needed to make sure that everybody was happy. I needed to make sure that I took everything personally. I was
Hmm.
a control freak. And when all those things weren't happening, then I would get angry to the point I would react to everything like a nuclear reactor.
Hmm.
And I'd leave fallout all over the place. So I get you when it comes to anger management. I get it. So, man, I'd love to help. You could pick my brain all you want on that. But
Okay.
thank you for asking me about my new program. It's called the Guaranteed 7-Figure Warrior Program. Of course, because everything I do is about being a warrior.
Uh-huh.
Right? So people say to me, "Well, what do you mean guaranteed?" Well, what happened is I've been a coach for about 12 years now.
Okay.
Okay. And many times I've gotten into these programs, they're going to say, okay, we'll help you create a lot, make an impact, make a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. And they say it's done with you, done for you. But you know what I found out, CJ? They were really done to you programs.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, they just wanted my money.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the more money they got up front, the better it was, because after that, they're like, okay, go figure it out on your own. I'm like, what are you talking about? So I put together a program and I use something called a risk reversal strategy,
Hmm.
meaning I've reversed the risk and put it on me instead of you, my client.
Wow.
Because I say, give me 12.5% upfront of the cost of the program.
Hmm.
And then you don't pay me again until you start making money. And when you do, it's 2 to 1. So you're giving me another 12.5% because you've made enough that it's twice as much as what you paid me.
Mm.
And then the next time you pay me is when it's 5 to 1. And then the last one comes when it's 10 to 1.
Wow. That is a risk reward type thing. Okay.
Well,
So
risk
you
reversal,
basically like
meaning I'm successful when you're successful, right?
yeah, yeah, and I like that aspect that like you say, because I've been in some of them programs that you're talking about too, and I just heard the guy say that when you in these type of things, you are the product. You know what I'm saying? You're the product, and they just selling you off to different people because they really don't care about you. And
Right.
so, like what you're saying, which is very interesting, is that you're not in it to get over on people or anything else. You're in it for so that people can actually prosper, which is,
That's right. Because I want, you know what? I want the people that come into my program, I'm very selective who comes in because I want to make sure that they believe in themselves as much as I believe in them.
hmm
Right. Because there's 3 things that make somebody successful in anything,
hmm
especially these kind of programs. One, you got to believe in the program that you're getting into.
Okay.
2, you got to believe in the guy that's delivering the program.
hmm
That's me in this case, right? And
Okay.
number 3, you got to believe in yourself
Yeah.
that you can get there. And that's where my whole warrior to warrior comes in. Because besides all the nuts and bolts that I'm going to teach you, that I coach my clients on, they also get my mindset course to go through and come back, and we go coach it and we learn it, and my book, my warrior to warrior book, and my cards, because all of those things help you say, I know I can do this. And
hmm
when you're not sure, come back to me. We'll work it through, because that's how it gets going.
Oh, okay. So with your warrior to warrior book,
Yeah, I had to come up with
hey,
a stupid name like that, right? Screw
no,
everybody up. Warrior to warrior.
no,
I'm
actually,
kidding. I'm kidding, man.
kind of fitting, because when I was going over it, when I was reading it, it's pretty fitting because you go from worrying about certain things in life, which we do at times. You worry about bills being paid, you worry about your condo being paid, we worried about gas prices and things like that. And so how I take it as, saying in my analogy, how I take it is that I go from worrying to be a warrior.
That's right.
These things that I was worrying about, now I'm worrying over those things where they're not an issue. Like you said,
Exactly.
well, I'm not complaining about this or that, because I'm worrying over these things.
Exactly right. Exactly. I don't mean stupid, crazy name like warrior to warrior. It's my Brooklyn accent totally screws it up too. On top of it, CJ. Brooklyn's in the house. What can you
How
do?
about, how about them Nets, man? So I take it that, okay, let me ask you this then. Are you New York Knicks or Brooklyn Nets?
I've always been a New York Knicks. I got to stay true to my boys. I've been
Okay.
a Clyde Frazier fan since I'm 10 years old.
Oh, yeah?
Can't change that. Can't change that. I'm a New York Knick. I bleed orange and blue.
Oh, well, I'm a Laker fan, as you can see.
That's it. I see it.
I've been Lakers since 1980, so 44 years of my life I've been
There you go.
Laker fan.
The
I like the
first game,
Yankees.
the first basketball game I ever went to was a Knicks Lakers game,
Oh yeah.
and it was Clyde against Jerry West.
Oh, I know that was a good one. Then.
That was a good one. Clyde and Earl the Pearl. They
Uh,
were the backcourt. That's
uh,
how old I am. I'm an old man, man. I'm an old man, CJ. And the Knicks won. The Knicks
yeah.
won.
Hey, I do like the Yankees. I like the
I'm a
Yankees.
Yankee fan.
Yeah,
I'm a Yankee fan.
they
The
my
evil empire. I'm part of the evil empire.
hey, I've been a Yankee fan since '96
There you
when
go. Oh well, it's a good time to get on board.
yeah, with Jeter and them and
That's right.
then you had Mariana, the
Mariano, Bernie Williams, Paul O'Neill, Tino Martinez. Got a great team there.
yeah, so yeah, so I like New York,
Thank
I
you.
like parts of New York and everything.
Right.
So like what so you say you from Brooklyn. So what
Yeah.
are some of the skills that propelled you in your younger life, that got you to the point where you are now as far as wanting to be a consultant, as far
Right.
as helping others?
So I grew up. I was very lucky. My parents, we never really struggled. Thank
Mhm.
God. So my father had a business, and whenever I had off from school, my mom would send me to work with my dad, go to the factory. He manufactured tablecloths back then. So I was always around entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship and all that. And I think I realized it took me into my 50s to realize why my mother always shipped me off. Because I finally got diagnosed in my 50s that I was ADHD. So she's like, get out of my head. Go with your father. Go to work. I don't want you hanging around the house driving me crazy. And I have 4 older sisters, so the crazy younger brother they don't want around. But I'd go to work with my dad, and it's not like I sat in the office and did filing. He's like, "Okay, you're going to be here. You're going to work in the factory. Today, you're going to clean the toilets. Tomorrow, you're going to empty the truck. The day after, or the next day, you're going to make boxes to fill them up with the tablecloths. Every day, something else." Because he said, you can't ask anybody in this place to do something that you're not willing to do yourself.
Oh, okay.
So if I'm going to tell somebody to clean the toilets, I better be ready to clean the toilets myself. Because if they look at me and say, who the hell are you? Even if you're the boss's son, I can say, me? I'll show you. Here's the cleaning. Here's the brush. Let's go do it.
Okay. So
I was thrown into the fire.
But I guess as you said, and by you going like that it was something that was instilled in you. And although, a lot of times when we're younger, we don't think that we're getting certain things, but as you get older, those values that you had as a younger age begin developing,
No question about it. I'd watch my father every single day. He'd walk through the factory and say good morning to every employee in every place there was 3 floors actually. The 3rd floor was mostly just storage, but the 1st and 2nd floor, he'd walk through and say good morning. And every day he would stop by somebody else and say, hey, Mary, how are you? How's your husband? How's things going? The next day might be Michael. How you doing, Michael? What's going on? How's your boys? How's this? Every day. Everybody there loved him because he cared about them.
Okay. And and as we know, as being in, working for people or, just working for yourself or whatever, that's key.
Yep.
I've always said this when I, work for folks or when I supervise or manage, that the frontline people are actually the people that make you look good.
Yes.
If they're not happy, then things ain't gonna go the way that you wanted to go. So you always want to be pleasant, even to people that you may not be too fond of,
right?
But it's still, it's like you still have to present yourself in that manner, So that was a good lesson to be
taught.
Take
the higher road. Take the high road.
Yeah. So I don't want to get too far. I want to come back to this. So explain to us a little bit about the method of warrior to warrior.
Yeah. So as I told you, I was a people pleaser for most of my life. And I didn't know that I was a people pleaser and taking things personally. I just thought that's who I am. I like to make everybody happy. But then, it all started to come out. I had been an entrepreneur most of my life, businessman. I had my own businesses doing different things, the ups and downs of that. And in the early 2000s, I was in a business that we closed, and my wife said, you got to find something else to do, even though you have some other income coming in, residual income. She goes, and I've been playing tennis lately, and I can't find anywhere to play. Right then, I was living down by the Jersey Shore in New Jersey. So she says, why don't we look to open up a tennis center, and I'll put some more tennis courts. Now, I got to tell you, CJ, I am not an athlete. I'm not an athlete. You could actually call me an athletic supporter.
But not an athlete, though.
But not an athlete. I can watch with the best of them. But, the people pleaser in me is like, yeah, okay, let's look into this. So we do some research and we find out, we do a feasibility study. Is it feasible to do it? And the guy says, yes, you could put 7 or 8 tennis courts around here easy. But if you think that's going to be a moneymaker for you, it's not going to make the money you kind of want. You got to add things, put in a health club with membership, put in a spa, put in a basketball court, all these other things. We're like, oh, okay. Before I knew it, I went from just a couple of tennis courts to a $15 million project.
Wow.
Over 100,000 square feet. And it took us 5 years to get through this process. Find the land, then go, get an architect and an engineer and then go to the city, and the city says, oh, you got to do civil engineering. How's it going to affect the traffic? How do you have enough parking? All this other stuff. Like, okay, we keep going and we're raising money, borrowing money, getting loans, getting investors. And the bank this whole time is like, yeah, man, don't worry. When you're ready, we love it. It's a great project.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if it was 2006 or 2007, when we finally got the city approval, walking into the bank was like walking into Costco at lunchtime and going to the ends of the aisles and eating from the old ladies giving you the samples.
Okay.
They were giving money away.
Oh, wow.
Right? In 2006, 2007, the loans were nothing. They were giving them away like nothing. Unfortunately for me, it was the summer of 2008 when I got all the approvals.
Oh.
So I go to the bank and I'm like, okay, I'm ready. They're like, yeah, we're not lending right now. I'm like, what are you talking about? You told me come back when you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
Well, things have changed.
Yeah.
A month later, Bernie Madoff, subprime loans. The financial world falls apart and I'm broke overnight. Overnight, I'm broke and I've lost $3.5 million of my money, my family's money, loans, investors, and everything. Just like that, I was broke down to the nothing. I stopped paying my mortgage. I stopped paying my car payments. A couple of months later, my son says, Dad, look outside. They were towing away my BMW. That never happened to me before.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a wake-up call, to say the least.
Hey, before I let you go with that one, I know that feeling. So tell me the feeling that it was when you sat there and looked out the window and watched them put the car on the tow truck, because I did it before. You know, I sat out the window, I heard the truck, and I look outside, I say, oh man, they coming. A car, and it's like your stomach just drops.
And then you run outside. You're like, what are you doing? Well, man, your car's being moved. Says, well, can I get the stuff out of the car at least? Nope.
Man.
No, I can't even have the stuff out of the car.
Now, I didn't have a BMW. I had a Monte Carlo. Now, I can just imagine.
It don't matter what the car is. All of a sudden, these feet are made for walking.
So I know that was an experience, man.
It hurt, baby.
So, through the triumph, so you say that, you lost 3.5 million of your own money, loans, borrowing things from family members. So, the triumph. So, how did you rebuild, the confidence that you had to rebuild? Because I can just imagine how downtrodden one may be, go through a depression like that, whatever. So, what was the process of the getting back to like what you are now?
Yeah. I wish I could say, CJ, I just woke up and everything was hunky-dory. Everything was up roses and tulips, but it wasn't.
No, that didn't happen.
I went through a year of depression. And, the house was under foreclosure. Luckily, I lived in New Jersey, where maybe 50% of the houses went under foreclosure back then in 2008, because that's how bad it was.
Yeah.
Everybody's loan to value went through the roof. They went upside topsy-turvy. And it took them years until they finally processed the foreclosure. Okay.
Okay.
That's a good thing.